So I got inspired to do this video from a fellow YouTuber by the name of Macro, and his awesome series Overwatch Makes No Sense. And I too have found things that do not make sense in Dead by Daylight, like the fact that when a survivor is hooked and they are groaning and moaning in pain, their mouths don't move. However, their eyes still blink, and if you look at it long enough, it gets pretty disturbing. The fact that the spirit can't phase through pallets, and even more so, weirder than that the killer can still stab the survivor's soul even after they've been sacrificed to the entity and long since died. With that being said, we're going to jump into the many weird occurrences in Dead by Daylight. So I'm sure those of you longtime players have noticed by now that after you hook a survivor on the entity's sacrificial hook, during the sacrificing process, the survivor will begin to emit groans of pain and agony, yet their lips do not move. In fact, their eyes continue to blink, opening and closing, like a normal person's would. However, audio of them groaning in pain plays, yet their lips don't move in the slightest, which is kind of creepy if you look at it long enough. I mean, just look at the survivor here. They are groaning and moaning in pain, yet nothing is happening with the lips. Very odd, very creepy, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. How can you be groaning in pain, yet your lips... At the end of the sacrifice, the ritual is completed, the entity has now been summoned, and will descend from the sky in some big black mist and smoke, and will then proceed to brutally kill the survivor that is hooked. At this point, the entity transforms the survivor into a spirit or soul-like state, and therefore is ethereal. And what makes things even stranger is that at this state, while the entity is dragging the survivor up into the heavens or up into the sky, you can still injure that survivor's soul. And the soul will still bleed and still cry out in pain as if the survivor was still alive, yet, however, they are not. They are dead. They cannot be hurt anymore, yet the killer can still attack them even while they're in this ethereal, gaseous, soul-like state, which is very weird and in some cases creepy if you think about it the right way. However, this is just an interesting little thing that I thought would include. I don't think it means anything per se. I think it's just kind of just a bug that was put in the game, or maybe it was never noticed until now, and the developers haven't removed it. But as of the video that I'm recording, you can still injure the survivor even after they have been deceased. This game has an awesome majority of creepy and terrifying killers for the player to choose from in their arsenal. And there's none more interesting than the Spirit, a ghost-like figure in the Dead by Daylight franchise. The Spirit has a very dark and depressing backstory. The Spirit, in her human life, was born into a rich Japanese family. Her dad was overworked, and eventually this led to him snapping, going crazy and brutally killing his wife, and eventually his daughter, cutting her up into small pieces, and then throwing her through a window. The story gets much more darker than that, so I'll let you look at the story yourself in the Dead by Daylight game. Anyway, going on to the Spirit herself. The Spirit does not behave as a ghost per se, more like a human with ghostly powers, as when she is in her phase walk, which is her power in the game, she can still bump into objects even while invisible, which makes no sense because if she's invisible, she shouldn't be able to bump into these objects, as a ghost can phase through objects. That's the definition of phase walk. Phasing through something means you go through it, which doesn't make any sense. I mean, I guess that the developers had to really change the ghost formula up for this character just because they had to get her to interact with other players so that she could kill them as she is a killer. But come on, during phase walk, can we have a little bit of ghost phasing through wall action? I mean, let's get real. I mean, there's nothing realistic about this ghost character. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you guys want to see more of this kind of content, let me know in the comments below. But yeah, this was just a few of the things I thought didn't make a lot of sense in the Dead by Daylight universe, and let me know if you guys feel the same way. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. Do take care, and happy haunts.